So I made some changes to my Typhoon intake from my Fox body. I took out 2 inches of runner, just cut it out, and then smooth it down. You can kind of, I can't make it completely flat because each runner steps down, so it would just get thin and I'd probably just break through on it. But it's pretty smoothed out. I smoothed all the inside of it up. I opened up the center of it. Just kind of cleaned all the coarseness out of it. The runners before were 1.18 to 1.19. I opened them up to 1.20 on the width. The height of them varied 186 to 190. Now they are at 1.94. The 2 inner runners have a large blockage for the center bolt hole. With the casting that's in there, how it comes, you have a clearance of 0.953, which doesn't match your outer runners. On mine, I ground it completely away and then re-drilled the center holes and took copper tubing and ran the copper tubing through there. And you can see that it doesn't really take up a whole lot. I believe mine are 1.16, which is pretty close to the outside runners. Okay, clean that up a little bit. I deleted the EGR. This is the TrickFlow 75mm EGR delete. When it was on there, it would move up and down. So I drilled out the top 2 holes and then used the same copper tubing that I was using before and just inserted those into that, which held it solid in place. And then I traced my new circle and then opened it up to match this. On the lower intake, it doesn't match the upper intake at all. The width of them, as you can see, the smallest was 1.10, and then the other side, I think the highest was 1.18. These have been opened up to 1.20. The same thing on the height of them. The lowest was 1.84. This side I've already cleaned most of the numbers off of it. It was about 192, I think, was the highest of it. So those have been cleaned up and opened. I only went halfway. I didn't open up the bottom half of it because I still have the E7s on there, and I wanted to see what this modification that I've done does to it. I'll eventually upgrade to the TrickFlow heads. Since I took out the 2 inches of runner, I didn't want to give up my runner length, so I already had a 3/8 spacer, which blocks off the exhaust port right here. So I added 2 1-inch spacers. I bolted all those down, the intake spacers, the gaskets and everything, and ported those to match the lower intake, and then it also matches the upper intake. I have these studs and the bolts because I didn't want to deal with using bolts. So these are 5/16 by 18 threaded rod from Lowe's. And then I have the copper tubes keep everything in line to where nothing shifts around, and when it's all assembled there's no ledges for the airflow to hit. So that supports that. These are my spacers, the 3-inch and then the 2 1-inch ones, and they're all labeled 4, 3, 2, 1. So when I assemble it, I know all these go towards the back and which one needs to go in order. And I'm going to start putting it together and see what kind of difference it makes.